Welcome back to another normal baseball team projection. Today we got the Houston Astros. Let's get into it. What's going on? Welcome back to normal baseball. I am Alex, normal dog. That's Lewis. And today we're back with another team projection. Will be for the 2022 regular season. We got the Houston Astros. This team made it to the World Series last year.
Yeah.
They lost to the Braves in 6. Trevor Plouffe knew it was coming. And yeah. So, team last year was pretty good. They
bad.
lost, obviously, the biggest person they lost, Carlos Correa. We kind of saw it coming. There was a point in the offseason where we thought he might go back to them on a 1-year deal, but that got shot down fairly quickly. That got shot down fairly quickly, so... Yeah. So, I'm going to read off their transactions from this off season.
Let's hear it.
And I shall start from November 11th. I will start from. Hector Neris, signed him as a free agent.
That's huge.
2-year contract. This microphone is just terrible. Justin Verlander signed as a free agent, came back, 1-year deal with a contract, opt-out for 2023. Nico Goodrum was signed as a free agent, 2022, 1 year. Carlos Correa's replacement. And yeah, and then we got, that's really it. And then they lost Correa. They lost Correa. Who else did they lose? Yimi Garcia, Marwin Gonzalez, Brooks Raley, Kendall Graveman, Zach Greinke, and then Carlos Correa. So they did lose a lot, this team.
Yeah, they definitely lost a lot, but it's crazy to say that they lost a lot and they're still going to be a team to mess with in the American League especially.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do there. I still think that this team is a playoff contender minimum.
Oh, 100%. This is going to be a playoff team. No doubt.
What do you think about their pitching? Let's start there. I mean, they lost Zach Greinke, but they're getting back what should be a fully healthy Justin Verlander this season. What are you expecting out of that rotation? I do think that actually Lance McCullers is going to miss a good amount of time.
Yeah, Lance McCullers is injured right now. They got Verlander back, like you mentioned. Verlander hasn't played since 2020, and I mean, 2020 he had a decent year. His ERA was a 3 exactly. But guys coming off Tommy John, you never really know how they're gonna exactly bounce back.
Especially with how old he is.
Yeah, and I think that's a big thing. He's 36 or something like that. Maybe not 36.
So.
He's 39. So,
Jeez.
even older, he's getting up there. I think, well, let's start with an over-under for him. Do you think he'll have over-under, let me look at his past years. Of course, they don't have normal counting stats. There's literally, here we go. Over-under 250 strikeouts.
I'm going to go under. And that's not because of his ability, of Justin Verlander's ability. I think just the teams in the AL West are getting better.
All right, I'm going over just because it's Justin Verlander.
That's
why would
fair.
I go? Yeah, why would I go under?
Well,
I feel like
to take the under.
I feel like I would be. I don't know. I just don't like the under. In my opinion.
That's fair.
To each their own.
Oh my god.
And then the rest of the rotation is looking like, Framber Valdez, pretty good. He showed us that last year that he can really be that guy, especially I don't think he showed out too much in the playoffs, but the regular season he was insane for them. Jake Odorizzi was injured for a lot of last year. Hopefully he'll bounce back and be good this year. That'd be huge for them. Jose Urquidy also proved to be a really good starter. Had good season last year. And then Luis Garcia, who also, like, these guys just kind of, I don't want to say they came out of nowhere, but it certainly does feel like they came out of nowhere. I mean, Urquidy is 26. He had a 3.62 ERA, but he was still, despite the ERA, he was still good. Luis Garcia, 3.48 ERA, but he was still a very quality pitcher. So I don't think the rotation is going to be as bad as it may seem, even without Lance McCullers Jr. I mean, once Lance McCullers Jr. comes back, it'll be good. But I do think it's going to be a decent rotation.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think the big thing that we're going to be seeing a lot more of this season is how the Astros can really run up the score. I mean, the lineup is there, and now that they are missing Zach Greinke, they're going to miss a good amount of time with Lance McCullers Jr. and hoping, that he can come back and be fully healthy. So we're going to see these young guys who are pitching who they have stuff to learn. They're not going to be lights out pitchers as they're used to seeing in Houston, and we're going to see the lineup put up a lot of runs.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of this lineup, let's talk about it. Nice to meet you. Speaking of this lineup, let's talk about it. Or do we want to talk about the bullpen?
Let's stay in pitching first.
All right, we'll talk about the bullpen then. I mean, they lost, like we said, Kendall Graveman, who was on their team only for the second half of last year. Wasn't as good as he was on the Mariners. But they still got Ryan Presley, Ryan Stanek, who are two good guys. Hector Neris, who was not great with Philly last year, but he was good with Philly, but he has potential to do more, and I feel like the Astros are that type of team where he probably will do more for them, just because that's kind of how the Astros roll.
Yeah.
And then we got, who else we got? Blake Taylor, Phil Maton. It's one of those. Good names: Pedro Baez, Rafael Montero, Brian Abreu, Christian Javier. They got some good names in there.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think the one guy that I'm looking forward to watch pitching this year is Christian Javier. I think he's going to be a silent but sneaky guy that is going to be their middle innings guy. He's never going to do anything spectacular, but I think he's going to be a solidified middle of the rotation, not middle of the rotation, middle of the bullpen guy.
I mean, I remember seeing Christian Javier last year, a decent bit. He wasn't bad. 30%
there was
strikeout
room to
rate.
improve last year, and I think that he's going to make the right improvements, and we'll see
It's only his third year
different
in the league.
type of beast out of him.
He has the ability to start, so if they do need him, they will probably use him as a starter. And yeah, that's their bullpen. Let's get into the fun part, their lineup. I mean, they lost Correa, obviously, at short. But their top prospect, Jeremy Pena, is projected to be in their opening day lineup, along with Jose Altuve, Alex Bregman, and Yuli Gurriel in that infield that we know and love. Well, we maybe not love.
That we know.
Along with Martin Maldonado. So, three guys we hate and rookie.
Yeah.
Coming in.
Yeah, I think that, if it ain't broke, don't fix it type of deal with the Astros.
No, they've had a very consistent team, and they've got guys like Kyle Tucker, Chas McCormick, who are... Kyle Tucker is dare I say, the most underrated player in baseball.
He's almost there. I mean, Kyle Tucker is one phenomenal player.
Yeah, he led the league in OPS and a bunch of categories after May or June, and I feel like it flew way too far under the radar.
Yeah, without a doubt. Kyle Tucker definitely performs exactly how the Astros need him to, which is upsetting because everyone knows that the Astros are such a powerhouse, whereas if Kyle Tucker were on a different team that was a little bit more lackluster, then everyone would realize holy shit, this guy is the guy to watch.
Yeah. And then more in this lineup, I mean, Michael Brantley, good. He flew under the radar last season, in my eyes at least. Like, I didn't pay much attention to Michael Brantley, and when I saw his name in that lineup at, like, either when they played the Yankees or when I was watching a team that they did play, especially in the playoffs, I was like, wow, I forgot Michael Brantley was, like, even on this team. And, I mean, he played, if I believe he played most of the season. Yeah, he played 121 games, so it's not like he was, like, gone for most of the year.
Yeah, he was around a good bit.
But even then, the 123 WRC plus, I mean, batting average was 311. He's one of the best hitters in the league currently, and they still got him on that team. So I wouldn't just like swipe the Astros across now that they lost Correa. I know that they lost, I mean, one of the best WAR guys in baseball and one of the best defenders and everything, but I don't think that necessarily means to count them out.
No, I completely agree with you. I think the big thing with the Astros overarching, like in general, yes, Correa was a big piece for them, but like he wasn't the only piece, you know? He was like if we're talking about, let's just say the Astros are a puzzle, he was like the border, you know? It kind of held everything together for the most part, but he wasn't the entirety of the puzzle. Like all of the pieces are still there and they look like they're going to be a deadly team.
Yeah, deadly indeed, and I think with all these other AL West teams kind of building themselves up and seemingly getting better this year, um, I don't know if any of them necessarily have the power to beat the Astros currently for the division.
Well, that's a hot take.
Who's gonna beat them? The Angels, maybe. They have a good bullpen. Their starting needs some work. Their lineup is always gonna be good, but it's underperformed every single year we've seen it.
The Seattle Mariners are another team that could
The
contend.
Mariners, yes, but then again, I think it depends on some of their guys having good years, and same thing with their rotation. They lost Yusei Kikuchi, who was big.
I said Kakachi.
I don't know. Maybe,
I think
I could see maybe some more competition than previous years, but I still overall maybe think that this is theirs to lose. It's
Yes.
definitely theirs to lose. I don't want to guarantee anything, but I think it's theirs to lose.
Yes, I'll agree with you. However, it feels like you said the competition is there to do something interesting. Like, I mean, I'm not going to say that it's going to come down to a game 163 for the division. I'm not going to say.
No way.
You know, I'm not going to say that it's going to be separated by a couple of games going into the last season of the series, but I think the Angels are going to make noise on the Astros, and I think the Mariners are both going to make noise because it's not like everybody just plays each other. Because I feel like the Astros have every team in their division beat team-wise, but the beauty of baseball is that, you know, you don't play just the same four teams every day.
Yeah, I agree. And like you said, it all depends on how they play against the teams in their division, I think. If they can, every time they play the Rangers, beat 3 out of 4 or 2 out of 3, or same thing against the Mariners and the Angels, if they can do that every time they play them, it's going to feel like, wow, the Astros get us every single time, and there's nothing we can really do about it, which is huge.
Yeah, and I mean, the big thing that I'm looking forward to in H-Town is seeing what they want to do moving forward, because Carlos Correa is sort of like the first pillar to fall, and soon they're going to have to look into extending some guys. They're going to have to look into, you know, what happens when these guys want to get their money and stuff, because we saw with the Astros and Correa, they didn't want to pay Correa. What makes you think that they're going to want to pay any other player, you know? So not to wish anything bad, and obviously that's nothing to come from this season, but I think the Astros have a big decision coming up, and it's sort of looming in the back of my mind, at least when I hear about the Astros.
I see where you're coming from, but I think with Correa it was a little different because he wanted a lot more years, and like it wasn't just about the money in his contract. I feel like I think it was a lot with the years and the AAV, which I get that's money, but I think it was more of the years thing. Obviously, he took 3 years in the end. I think they just wanted him back for 1 year, and then maybe, depending on how that went, get him back longer. But he declined the qualifying offer, obviously. I don't know. I just feel like it could have went a lot differently with Carlos Correa. and it didn't.
Yeah. But this lineup, all in all, I could still see at the top of the AL West come the end of the season. Can still see them being the playoff powerhouse that they have been for the past 5 years. They're going to go for their sixth straight ALCS appearance.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to think about, that there's such a dynasty that has only produced one ring, but they've always been that sort of, if you want to win, beat us first.
Yeah, and I mean, the dynasty you're talking about, obviously they lost a guy, but they still got a lot of the other guys. And I know the dynasty is a little tainted because of 2017, but we've seen in past years, like the past 2 years, without the cheating, that they could still get it done. They've gotten close twice, haven't quite gotten there, but they have what it takes to get it done. It's just a matter of getting it done without knowing what pitch is coming. And another guy we haven't talked about is Alex Bregman. Blonde-haired Alex Bregman this year, actually.
Yeah.
We
strange.
barely saw him last year. He played 91 games. He played a lot more than I thought. Didn't do great considering he's Alex Bregman. He hit 270, had a 777 OPS, which is just not Alex Bregman numbers.
Yeah. Alex Bregman, but then again, he was dealing with injuries for the most part last season. Whether or not he was sitting out for them, it kind of just, when you watched him play, it just, like, he didn't look comfortable on the field for the most part. He didn't look as athletic as he should have looked, as a 27-year-old ball player who looked to be, like, in his prime of his career. So I think that with him coming back from injuries, and he took the proper amount of time to nurse it and to do it right, that I think we're going to see Alex Bregman sort of return to form, and we'll see him play a lot better than what we saw last year.
Yeah, he's been working out in the off-season and getting stuff done. He's been posting it to his YouTube channel. Always fun to see. He hit 37 home runs in 2019, which was his last full year, like not counting the 2020 season. Do we think he'll have over or under 30 home runs this season?
Over under 30 homers? Give me the under.
Under, okay.
Yeah, pretty crazy to say, but I think I'm going to go with under.
I'm going to take the over. As much as I like the teams in the AL West, I don't think the pitching is fully there. And I think that Astros lineup is scary. And I mean, we've seen that he has the potential to do good against these, like, take advantage of the bad pitchers and kind of jump on top of them. And I think he'll do that this year. I think most of his home runs, well, obviously this comes with any player because you play them the most, but I think a lot of his home runs will come off the bad players, like the bad pitchers in the AL West, and he'll really take advantage of it.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. He's only hit over 30 homers twice in his career, but then again, those were the last 2 seasons when he was completely healthy.
Exactly, and
so
his first 2 were his first 2 seasons.
Yeah, and I think, I would love to be wrong, but I think that it's just not going to be.
Oh, he hit 41 home runs in 2019. My bad, I read the wrong number.
Yeah. But I'm looking forward to seeing him come back from injury, because it as much as, everyone hates on the Astros and hates on their players for all of the stuff that happened, you also have to account that these guys are ball players at the major league level, like, no matter which way you spin it.
100%, yeah.
So I'm going to root for just good baseball out of Houston. How's that?
Reasonable. I'm rooting for baseball out of Houston.
Baseball.
Not
too good at baseball.
Yeah, I won't be fussed if it's bad. I know we're doing the projections for the will be for this team, but I'd be fine if it's not 2019 kind of baseball coming out of Houston.
Yeah, that's fair. That's completely fair.
And yeah, I mean, last year this team was first in average, first in on-base percentage, second in OPS, first in runs, ninth in home runs. Not much speed, but who cares when you're first in average and first in on-base percentage, first in runs?
Yeah.
Being first in those 3 things and second in OPS, I could care less if your team has speed. at that point.
That's true. I'll agree with you on that point.
The big loss was Zach Greinke, who was their ace last year without Verlander, but now Verlander's coming back. I think Verlander's gonna be fun to watch. Greinke, I have a sneaking suspicion he's not gonna have a great year in Kansas City either.
Well, there's only one way to find out, and that would be watching the Kansas City Royals. The one guy that I just want to touch up on again is Yuri Gurriel. Yuli. Sorry. 30. He's going to be 38 years old this year, and he just came off a season where he batted .319 as the first baseman. What do you think of him? I mean,
I love him. I love Yuli.
Yeah, he's interesting. He is so interesting because his age doesn't show when he's playing baseball. It's
right.
So crazy.
He's just kind of playing. Not only is he getting hits, but he drives guys in. He had 81 RBIs, which is not a small number by any means. 31 doubles, so he's not just out there getting singles. He's also got the power. We know that. We've seen it before. It was a little down last year. It was only 15 homers compared to the 31 that he hit in 2019. But I think if he can get that average up and that slugging up a lot more. I mean, his OPS was 846. So you can bat 319 and have a 900 plus OPS. That's insane, especially for a 38-year-old. He's gonna be 39.
A 38-year-old who not only is playing first base, one of the most what people consider unathletic positions in baseball, but doing it in an era where everyone just expects you to hit the long ball every time you get into the box.
Yeah.
He is insane in the box.
Defying the odds.
Yeah, defying the odds and fighting off Father Time, which is even better. I'm looking forward to watching his at-bats.
Me too. I'm looking forward to seeing if they're as competitive as batting champions at-bats should be.
Yeah. Count me in for that. It'll be fun to watch.
And then speaking of batting titles, Michael Brantley, like I said, he was known for his high averages and kind of flew under the radar last season. Do you think he'll have over or under a 300 batting average next year?
Over, under, 3... You go first.
All right, I'm going to go over just because none of the numbers show that he would have an under. I mean, nothing showed that he's really digressing because he had a good late year last year. He batted over 300. He batted 311 last year. He's batted over 300 in the last 4 seasons. 2017, the year before, he batted 299. So I think it's safe to say the last 5 seasons he's batted 300.
Yeah.
No part of that says that he's slowing down.
No, I agree with you. I'm going to take the under.
Okay, you're going to take the under. All right. He agrees, but he's going to take the under.
Well, I don't understand that. Also, I mean, half the reason why I'm taking the under is just to take the opposite as you. Just in case I'm right. That would be fun. And also, I think that, not to wish him a regression, but I just think that the teams in the division got better. Especially pitching-wise. I mean, the Angels got better. The Mariners got better. The Rangers got a pitcher.
Yeah, no.
So there's not as many places for the Astros to fly into and be like, let's go beat up on these guys,
I guess. I don't know. I just don't think any of the numbers show that he's slowing down, so I'm not going to think that he is. And then finally, to wrap this up, over under 92.5 wins.
92.5, give me the over.
All right, yeah, I'm also going over. I think the teams in that division are good, but I don't think the Astros are going to take that much of a hit because of Carlos Correa.
Yeah.
I do think they're going to take a big hit, but I don't know. I still think they're the best team in that division.
Yeah, you'll see it. You'll notice, those ground balls up the middle that don't get played anymore. You'll notice that there will be big opportunities where they're filling shortstop. What's his name?
Jeremy Pena.
Jeremy Pena.
He's not a fill-in. He's their prospect.
Yeah, well, you'll notice the situations when you'd much rather have Alex Correa up than Jeremy Finn.
Alex Correa?
Oh, Carlos Correa.
Yeah, you're right. And then finally, team MVP, who you got?
I'm going to go Justin Verlander.
Okay.
Give me JV.
I'm going to go with Kyle Tucker.
That's also a good pick.
Just because He so underrated. I don't know. I just think it's a sneaky good pick, you know?
Yeah, I cannot fault you for making that pick.
But yeah, that should do it for the Houston baseball teams. Will be for the 2021 season. In 2022, the Houston baseball team will be in
First place.
first place. You heard it here first. All right. That should do it. We shall see you in the next one. It's going to be the Tampa Bay Rays. Peace.